The feds could use local police officers to crack down on undocumented immigrants. That's one idea being floated to President-elect Donald Trump. That pitch seen on a paper carried Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach when he met with the president-elect over the weekend. And it's just one reason undocumented immigrants are nervous about being deported. Another reason? Trump's campaign promised to roll back part of President Obama's Dreamer program. It's technically called Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA. And it's why 750,000 undocumented immigrants can get driver's licenses, legally work, and attend college. Now many college presidents want to protect those undocumented students, so let's talk about that. With me now is President of the University of San Francisco, Father Paul Fitzgerald. Welcome, Father.
Welcome, Ms. Cosell. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for being with me this morning. Tell me what your undocumented students on campus are saying to you.
At the University of San Francisco, we have about 80 students, undergraduate and graduate students, who have participated in the DACA program. They've given the federal government their names, their birth dates, their home addresses in exchange for this promise that they would be allowed to continue to finish their education, get work permits, and then upon graduation enter the workforce and contribute to the economy of the United States.
So what is their fear?
They're very afraid that in exchange for that voluntary surrender of information about themselves, that they've now put themselves, and especially they put their families, in danger of deportation.
So there have been mass protests at universities across the country. What do those students protesting want university presidents to do?
They want us to do what I and over 250 university presidents have already done, which is to pledge publicly that we will use every legal means to protect our students, that we will provide them with a quality education, give them every chance to participate in life on campus, provide them with legal advice, best legal advice for their particular situations, help them to seek other immigration status if it's possible. About 15% of DACA students do have other immigration avenues open to them. So we're doing these kinds of things. Also, we're offering them a lot of personal support.
Mm-hmm. So can you actively keep federal agents off campuses or local police off campuses if they do come for these undocumented students?
Well, I happen to be blessed to live in the city of St. Francis, and Mayor Lee here in San Francisco for 23 years. He has continued this pledge, 23 years old, that San Francisco is a sanctuary city, which means that the sheriff's department and the police department do not actively give information to immigration authorities if they stop someone for a traffic violation who doesn't have documentation.
But as far as federal agents coming onto your campus, is there any legal way that universities can prevent them from coming on campus?
20% of my students, so about 2,000 students, are documented international students. We cooperate very closely with immigration to maintain the visas of our international students, our documented international students. We have a balance here of obeying the law, supporting all of our students, but offering the most vulnerable of our students every legal protection that we can, as well as psychological and emotional support.
There is a chapel on your university grounds, correct? Could undocumented students go into those chapels and be protected in any way?
My understanding is that at least in the Obama administration, where there have been many, many legal deportations of undocumented people, that immigration authorities don't like going into people's homes. They certainly don't like the visuals of going into a church or a synagogue or a mosque and dragging people out. So I would hope that our university as a whole, including St. Ignatius Church, would be a refuge, but the real refuge has to be the hearts of all of our citizens who make this choice that we be a nation of immigrants and that we be hospitable.
President-elect Trump says he wants to deport those undocumented immigrants who've committed crimes, and then he said, you know, we'll think about the other stuff later. So will you give him the benefit of the doubt that he'll figure out a good solution for these undocumented students?
That's my ardent hope, and I think that's the hope of every decent person in this country, that the new president succeed, that he govern well, that he uphold the values of the nation. There's a practical side to this, too. The United States does not produce enough college graduates to fill the needs of our economy. To deport 700,000 college students would be shooting ourselves in the foot. And to do anything that would stop the inflow of international students who come here to study, $32 billion a year are brought into the United States by international students coming to study with us. So I think, you know, it's the moral thing to do, but it's also the smart thing to do to let the United States be this great magnet of talent and intelligence and hard workers.
Father Paul Fitzgerald from the University of San Francisco, thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you, Ms. Costello.